All right, teachers, educators, it's Dr. Buzz, and I'm coming in strong on this. Expectations in the schools. We have to get these delivered to these children. We have to implement. But, I get over and over and over, I get tons and tons and tons of emails, of teachers saying, kids today just don't want to follow directions. Kids today just do what they want. Kids today are too distracted. The reality is we're up against a lot as educators. We're up against, dysfunctional homes, kids with a need for immediate gratification, people entitled to a lot more of support and accommodations than we've ever seen in the past. There's just a lot to follow as it relates to managing behavior in classrooms. But the first thing we have to do, which I got to tell you, I'm in classrooms every single day and I consult for schools everywhere and I run into it everywhere, is that we don't have school-wide for positive behavioral support systems, meaning schools that are on an effort to have everybody on the same page, to create a positive environment that is wired for sound, that has very well-defined expectations and catching children doing the right thing versus just punishing only those who are doing the wrong thing, etc. But the science behind management is always about setting expectations. You have to be able to create these boundaries that are very goal-driven, meaning we want people to become what the expectation is. Hallway walkers, hand raisers, speaking kind to other people, organizers, preparers, whatever it is that you wish to have in your school that will not only make children more skillful, but it will improve the climate of the culture that you're trying to build in your community. It has to be driven by having very, very specific set boundaries or expectations. So what's the difference between expectations and rules? So rules are always coupled or accompanied by the word punishers. For example, if you speed and do more than 50 miles an hour on the road, you're going to get a ticket. An expectation is we want people to become responsible drivers. But there's a whole process that goes before, even setting rules, which is I want you to be conscientious of what it is that we do here. I want you to be conscientious that you're in control of the decision to either do it or not do it. And I want you to be mindful that there will be, outcomes for the choices that you make. But we're responsible schools. We're responsible that when they're in our buildings, that we have to set those expectations and that everyone needs to be on the same page with the expectations. So let me give you a great example. So, recently I'm in a school and there's a teacher who is following the expectation there's no hat wearing in the school. It's written in policy. I've looked it up. It's even in the front of the children's homework planners. And it says under school conduct, code of conduct, that you can't wear hats in the school. So there's a teacher who actually lets his students wear hats in his class. So I speak to the gentleman. He says, listen, I don't have a problem with these kids. They get their work done. And, there's a lot of other people that have issues with the same kids I have. And the kids are acting out in their classes, but not mine. I get that, and I think that that's wonderful that they are just loving this kid, this guy or this teacher, this class, the work, the content, the subject, whatever it might be that is in that small entity within this, this larger institution that we call the school. But if he is not following the school code of conduct himself and allowing children to wear hats, unfortunately, he's setting the other teachers up for failure because they're not allowing the kids to wear hats. And as a result, they're acting out in these classrooms. Not good, not cool, not fair. And in reality, he's really hurtful to the climate of the school. There are expectations, guidelines, rules, boundaries, and all those things put together in order to have order to the school. What are we saying to the children? We're saying, hey, if you work at Target, in aisle 4, if you work for us, we're going to let you wear a certain type of hat or a certain type of garment that is really inappropriate and in our code of conduct that you're not allowed to wear. In other aisles or hallways or parts of the store, you're not allowed to wear that. So, this confusion of setting kids up, for the future, and a kid gets a job at Target, he's been reinforced to be able to find somebody who's going to let him do what he wants, which really is a setup for failure. It's sad because this is so avoidable. So you have to say to yourself, the teacher's letting the kids wear the hats. Why is he willing to go outside the box and really violate his own school code of conduct? Is it because he wants to be liked by the children? I mean, is it an incentive to get the kids to just work harder? I mean, I really don't know. If he's that passionate about kids should be allowed to wear hats, then he should go to the school board and, maybe petition to change some of the rules and expectations in the school. But until then, let me tell you something, sir. The kids are not supposed to wear hats in your classroom, and stop setting all the other teachers up for failure. Number two, do not set the kids up for failure for their future. We can't allow them to think that as long as you buddy up with somebody who's in the administrative or managerial side of the entity that you survive, that you're just going to be able to do what you want. Where does that happen? So we are responsible for grooming our students to follow boundaries, follow expectations, and follow rules by everyone being on the same page. And as educators, it becomes critical because many times, as we all know, we're overcompensating for dysfunctional homes. So when they walk into our buildings, we need to be consistent with our boundaries. Work hard. Let's go. Let's get it done. Dr. Buzz.